welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Christmas speed build video. I did warn you this was going to happen, but thank you very much for joining me here today for this very special Christmas speed build video. I know I've already said that, but I'm so excited for this. This turned out so nicely. So this ended up being kind of like a converted barn kind of house, like a red converted barn, and again used an image from Pinterest as a reference, just quite a loose reference. I think it was more the shape that I was aiming for with the reference image rather than the sort of style or the colour scheme. So that I don't want to say I came up with it by myself, it's literally just red, there's nothing too special about it. But the generic shape we got from Pinterest, and it ended up being a 3-bedroom 2-bathroom house. So it looks bigger from the outside than it is on the inside. So downstairs it's unusual. I think I probably could have maybe put another bedroom downstairs along with a bathroom, but I decided against it and put in a dining room instead. Which is something that I don't usually put in my builds, and that is simply because I don't have a dining room. This is going to sound really weird, but I don't have a separate dining room in real life. So our kitchen is a kitchen dining room, and our living room is an L-shaped living room, and it was supposed to be where the L is, like the base of the L is supposed to be like the dining room, but we've just used the entire space for the living room, and we've got like a reading nook, so it's got like bookshelves and a chair in. So I tend to, when I'm building, leave the dining room out because I don't have one, and I know that sounds like a really sorry excuse, but it's kind of true, and that's mainly why I don't put dining rooms in my homes. But this one, because it's a very traditional Christmas home, I wanted to put the separate dining room in so that your Sims could enjoy their Christmas dinner at it. So yeah, so the outside of this build it didn't take that long. I think it took me about 30 minutes to do the exterior of the build, and that was just the initial time that I'd spent on it. That doesn't include any tweaks that I make throughout the build. And just a warning, the kitchen changes completely. So the kitchen that you see in the speed build isn't the kitchen that the house ends up with, and that is because I had a really hard time this morning designing the kitchen and choosing the colour swatches. And I had this trouble, if you've seen my previous Christmas house speed build video, which I will link in the description below. If you haven't seen it, please go and check that out if you can. I had the same problem with that one as well. So I had a problem with the kitchen, and I had the same problem again, but the living room was absolutely fine. It's weird, I think my Christmas houses I'm good at living rooms, and my normal houses I'm better at the kitchens. So bit of a weird trade-off, but anyway. And I decided to go for these base game windows along with the windows from the Moschino pack, which seems like a bit of an odd combination, but I actually kind of think it works. It adds a bit of quirkiness to the build, I think, and a little bit of character. But I liked the green with the red. I thought that looked quite nice, quite pretty. So, and it's got a complete wraparound porch, which I'm going to be honest isn't decorated. It's not decorated. It's yeah, I don't know. I think because it's a Christmas build, I maybe could have put like an exposed fire pit and some chairs looking back. Anyway, there's going to be plenty more Christmas builds on the channel, so I am sure I will be able to do something with that in another build. But yeah, it's got a wraparound porch. The garden we're not even going to speak about because it's a fence with some trees in and a swing set. But raise your hand if you're surprised, because if you are, then you haven't been around long enough. I'm not very good at back gardens, or I'm okay at them, but by the time I come round to them, I'm kind of exhausted from the rest of the build. So I started this build yesterday and I've finished it today. Don't get me wrong, I've done it in a few sittings. I haven't done this in one sitting. It's very rare that I'll do that. I'll do that with apartments, depending on the size of the apartment. With smaller apartments I can do it in one sitting, but I tend to get creative blocks if I just sit here and try and do a build just outright. So I tend to do it in short bursts, so that's why I think sometimes when you're watching the speed builds with me here, they're a bit, you'll see the camera angle change, and that tends to be me coming back to the game. So this was all done in one sitting, this portion here, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was done in one sitting, because I like to get the exterior done and then I'll do the floor plan and then I'll do inside. But unless I'm feeling particularly creative, I won't do it all in one go. So here we go. So this is me doing the kitchen, I think for the third time. Obviously you haven't seen the rest of them because I didn't put them in, but the layout stays the same, but the colour swatches change slightly. Oh, and the fireplace moves from that wall there to the wall there, that plain wall there. So it does change quite a bit, and I probably should have just edited this out completely because it doesn't look like this in the end build, but it's a process, and it's a process that I didn't record for some reason. I think I got that angry with it. I just thought I'm just going to do this off camera, because if I do it on camera, I think there's an element of pressure to get it right, and I don't know, I'm having a hard time with my kitchens at the moment. I think I need some inspiration. So yeah, it doesn't look like this, and I spent far too long on this kitchen, far too long. So it's kind of like a bittersweet sort of like watch back for me, is this. So, but it ends up being a lot more festive than this, because at the moment I think I was trying to make it a certain way and it just wasn't happening. But this happened with my build that I put up yesterday as well, my other Christmas build, so I'm not surprised it happened at all. I think it's because I was determined to put a seating area and a fireplace in here, and the house is a very odd shape downstairs because of where I've chosen to put the stairs, and I think looking back I maybe could have moved the stairs somewhere else, but for the upstairs the stairs work well there, so it's kind of like a trade-off. But then this is me here trying to add obviously red into the kitchen to try and get it a little bit festive looking, and that comes out entirely. I honestly don't know why I've put this in the build, because it just doesn't look like this at all. And if you have seen the post on Tumblr or Instagram and you've come from there, you will see that the swatches have changed. Yeah, so this is funny. It's actually really funny to watch back. And that rug, initially I thought it was a good idea because it kind of reminded me of candy canes, but now I'm looking back, that changes anyway. I'm thinking, why on earth did I choose that rug? And I even went into the rugs and tried to categorize them by color. So I selected red, and we don't have any red rugs in this game that are nice, apart from one which I ended up using. It's sort of like a really dark, I think it's a base game rug actually, but I think we need a rug overhaul. So if anyone from the Sims team's watching, which they're not, let's be honest, we need more rugs. I will settle for a rug stuff pack. I don't care. Like this is, here we go, this is me trying to choose a red rug because it wasn't happening. So yeah, we end up landing on one from the bit, that's the one. We end up, I think that, yeah, it's base game, and I'm not even convinced that that's one that you don't have to cheat for as well. I'm not sure. So at the minute it's starting to look a bit more festive, and then I had an issue with the wall swatches, and then that was me just giving up entirely, doing it off camera and then going to the living room. So if you see snippets of the kitchen, there we go. So the layout's pretty much the same, but the swatches have changed. And I had an absolute nightmare with trying to choose wall swatches for it and trying to get the right look and the right feel. I'm still not 100% happy with it, but it's much better than it was this morning. So let's stop talking about the kitchen and let's talk about the living room. So the living room was actually really easy. It came very easily to me, which I'm not surprised at, because apparently me and Christmas living rooms just seem to work. So I think the whole, you know, I wanted it to be cozy, festive. I wanted it to be, you know, the room of the house that the family would want to spend the most time in, because I think at Christmas time, I think you spend most of your time in the kitchen or the living room. You know, you're either cooking or you're eating, or you're passed out on the sofa because you've had too much to eat and too much to drink. So that was the idea with this. I just wanted it to be cozy and festive, family friendly, and just really homey, you know, like really nice to look at, and it looks really nice with the fire lit and everything like that. So I'm quite happy with how this came out, and obviously stacking up all the presents. Whoever's house this is have a lot of presents, so lucky you for Christmas Day. And then we went completely nuts with the Christmas decorations. I'm not even gonna try and dance around that fact. Yeah, we went completely nuts with these, but it's okay, I'm not sorry. I think they look good. They look good. I keep dropping in just to make sure it's not too much, and I think I toned some of it down. I think we take those garlands off the wall at some point and replace them with something else. And I only did this build a few hours ago, and I'm trying to remember what I replaced them with. But oh, there we go. Yeah, so just basically the smaller garlands and some wreaths. So yeah, and then we're putting some of these lights up, and it ended up just looking really nice, I think. And shock horror, there's no television in this room. Oh my gosh, I'm starting to wonder why people even download my houses. So there's never a television in them, and the back garden's always terrible. So I'm just sat here wondering now, like, why people even bother. But that's a separate issue. And so just messing around with some, you know, more homey decorative items, trying to make it look a bit more lived in. And I love this cabinet from the Eco Lifestyle Pack. Love it. I love this wicker basket from Seasons. I use that in a lot of my builds, and we're just basically filling up some spaces. And this room, this small room here at the back, ends up being the dining room. Bit strange, but my parents' house is quite similar. There's where the dining room is, there's French doors leading out onto what was the back garden. It's now got a conservatory on it, but that leads out onto the back garden, so I didn't think it was that strange. And then I have a bit of a situation here where I'm trying to fit this little poofer from Tiny Living in the living room, and just making sure it's all functional and the Sims can still root round. And it's kind of hard to watch this back. I think this build didn't come that easily to me, but it's okay because it ended up looking quite nice in the end, so it's all right, you know. It's just a bit painful to watch back at times, but I'll get over it. So this is the dining room. This room is very cluttered, I'm gonna warn you now, but hey, you know, if you know me as a builder, I love clutter. I think I probably overdo it sometimes, but you know, that's fine. So just again having a mess around with some different lamps, and then I realised that I think it was City Living came with this nicer swatch of this floor lamp, just a bit warmer, so I ended up switching that out in the living room and putting in the bookshelf from the Moschino stuff pack, because that's such a lifesaver when it comes to a space that you don't know what to put in. I think it kind of goes with everything, even though it's more modern. I think it still goes in a traditional home like this, and I believe we also used it yesterday in yesterday's build. So yeah, and just adding some Christmas decorations in here, because this is where your Sims would be eating their Christmas dinner, so it would need to be very festive. So hopefully we achieve that, even though it's a little bit busy, a little bit messy, but that's okay. And there you can see the lovely garden, you know. Oh, it's so beautiful. I mean, I really outdid myself with that, I really did. Anyway, and then we're moving on to the upstairs. So as I said, this has 3 bedrooms, but it actually sleeps, I'm counting, 5 Sims. So this is a single bedroom, there's a twin room next to it, and then the master bedroom is on the other side. The main bathroom is just on the right hand side there, and the master bedroom has an ensuite as well. So I made this quite blue turquoise, and using a lot of items from the kids room stuff pack. It's such a handy pack for kids bedrooms, it really is. It's one of the stuff packs that I really enjoy using, and it's just a lot of fun to add a little bit of personality to your bedrooms. I absolutely love it. So putting in a wardrobe and just some space fillers, again some plants, we put some clutter in, some toys, you know. there's no desks for the kids to do their homework on, but if I do remember correctly, they can do it on the dining room table, so at least they're not completely without a surface to do the homework on. And can they do their homework on the floor? Because I know you could do that in The Sims 3, but I don't tend to actually play The Sims 4, as in with Sims. I do have a family that I want to start playing with off camera. I don't think anyone would want to see me do a let's play, but I don't get to play very often, so more often than not when I'm doing houses, I do put in small desks in the children's room. But now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember if they can just do the homework on the floor like they could in The Sims 3, and I think they could even do that in The Sims 2, so I'd be surprised if they couldn't, but you know, let's stop rambling on about that. Again, a nice wardrobe in the twin room as well, and we actually end up extending the house on either side because I had a bit of an issue in the master bedroom with the ensuite, and the Sims couldn't go around the bed, so I had to pull out the side of the house to make the room 1 square wider, and then obviously I had to do it on the other side as well to make it match, because obviously from the outside one side of the house was longer than the other and it just looked a bit strange. So these rooms just pop out 1 more tile. It doesn't really do an awful lot, but it just gives everyone a little bit more space. So yes, so that I did off camera as well, because if I'd have done all this on camera, this would have been a very long video because I think that's why I'm a little bit nervous about doing a real-time build video, because I do make a lot of, not mistakes, I like trying different things, and then when I'm doing my editing of the video, I'll take those things out sometimes just so the video's not too long, because obviously I have to appreciate that people might not want to sit and listen to me ramble on for like an hour. So yeah, because you're not you know, you have sense. So that there, we were just doing the main bathroom. It's nothing special, and this is the ensuite. It doesn't have a shower, so it's just a toilet and a sink, but I thought it was better than not having one at all, so this is what we ended up doing. But this does change slightly because, as I said, the rooms do expand by 1 tile on either side, so you'll see me putting in a bed in a moment and coming to the realization that there's not enough room, and then cutting the camera off, pulling my hair out, and then coming back in and realizing that it's probably a quick fix, but we do all that off camera. And the top of the hallway I don't normally bother with, but I think with this one, because of the window, having a lovely sort of big window out onto the back garden, I wanted to make it quite special and quite nice. It's nothing too fancy, it's just to make it look a little bit more homey. So here we go, this is where I put the bed in, and then realise what I've done, go off camera and then make it all bigger. So and then these side tables, I pull them in slightly as well, because we do end up putting a fireplace in this bedroom. That was quite important to me for this build. I think this house would have a fireplace in the bedroom, it just had that vibe, so I put one in, and it ends up being the fireplace from Cats and Dogs, I believe. Yes, there it goes in. But I'm going to stop that here now so you guys can enjoy the screenshots at the end. But if you have liked this video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like or a comment at the end of the video. And the house is available to download from the gallery under my Origin ID, which is RachelPedd, and the tray files are also available to download from the description down below. But thank you so much for joining me here again today, and I'll see you soon. Bye!